Hello everyone, it is John and it's Waffle Day and I've got somebody new to present to you. This is, oh hang on, come on, up your hole. He's shy. He's very shy. Come here. Come here. Oh. This is Mr. Hyde. Say hello, Mr. Hyde. Because Jekyll's disappeared. Hello. He's had his hair cut. You don't know who he is, do you? Yes, he's beautiful, isn't he? Oh, I don't need you to lick me, please. Oh, dear. Don't really abide dogs licking. No, I don't. But isn't he gorgeous? Aren't you gorgeous? Yes, you are. He's beautiful and he's had his hair cut. Haven't you? Yes, he's a beautiful man. So there you go. There is Pippin. He's had his hair cut now. He's looking really, really spiff. Indeed he has. Haven't you? Says Dad, you're mad. Can you let me talk now? Mr. Producer? Mr. Producer, may I talk? Can I go have a sleep? Can I go back to sleep? Ah, dear. Yes, all sorts of things, but yes. All good things, I guess, come to an end eventually. I created and have been monitoring a Facebook group since about 2014 called the Oldhammer Australia. Oldhammer Australia? Yeah. Or is it the Australia Oldhammer? Look, I can't remember what it is now because I've gone and handed it over to the next generation of people to monitor it. I've basically gotten too old and too tired now to look after it now. So I was initially going to delete it, but I was persuaded after I gave notice. I said to them, look, I'm going to delete it. And boy, did I suddenly find out that people actually do pay attention to what's posted on there for once. Well, not for once, but suddenly people pay notice when you say, look, I'm going to shut this site down. And but yes, it's interesting. Do I feel conflicted at having to give up the site that I created and sort of monitored and thought of perhaps as my child? No, not really. As I said, I'm just really tired of having, I guess, kept an eye on it for so long. And why? Well, look, to be honest, I guess the best example is I put up a poll and said, look, would people please nominate a person that they would like to run the group? And clearly I need to be very, very specific because the number of responses that I had, because I made it an open poll, I put down the person who initially contacted me as one of the people that people could nominate for. But then the other names that started to crop up in the poll just showed the level of intellect of members. And that just really shows me that people would prefer to be buffoons than to be serious when it comes to answering polls. And that unfortunately sort of disappoints me in other areas because that cropped up recently with another group that I had where we were trying to work out what game that we wanted to play, and I wanted people to take it seriously, and the whole thread for the poll got derailed. And I thought, well, what the hell's the point of putting up a poll if people aren't going to take it seriously? So consequently, I don't put polls up anymore because, if you're not going to take it seriously and you're going to be an absolute dick and tick every bloody box and, derail the whole purpose of what a poll's for, then, well, it just really, it's just pointless. There may as well not be a democracy then. So, yes, as you can see, I'm in a really good mood because I'm just really fed up. Really, really fed up with people at the moment because I'm currently in a purge with Facebook. So I'm just reviewing all the groups that I'm part of, and I guess a lot of the people that are on there, because I'm just thinking, well, none of these people ever contact me, none of the people ever talk to me, so I'm basically silencing a lot of groups because I'm thinking, well, what's the point? I'm not doing these activities anymore. I don't think I need to be part of these groups. So, yeah. So, yes, as you can see, I've actually got notes. I'm sort of semi-organised now, so I'm just having a think here, thinking I need to thing there, which then got me on to thinking about differences between an enthusiast and a fanatic. And I think of myself as an enthusiast. I'm not a fanatic. You may think I'm a fanatic looking at everything that I've collected, but I'm more a enthusiast in the fact that I enjoy the company and collecting everything. I'm not a fanatic in the fact that I've got to have everything, because it's impossible to collect everything unless you've got very, very deep pockets, which I don't have. So I'm more an enthusiast in the fact that I'm enthusiastic about having people's company. I'm enthusiastic about playing games. I am not fanatical about game statistics and gameplay and game designers and game politics. That doesn't interest me. So, if you're going to sit down at the table and start talking about how a game plays out and, the minutiae of anyway, about the minute details of about game specifics, you'll lose me, because I'll just stare at you very blankly, and it will. It really will, because look, it just goes over my head. I'm there just to enjoy the company, play the game, and 9 times out of 10 I'll probably make the wrong decision, which means in most cases I come at the bottom end of the table. And occasionally, 1 time in 10, or when the stars are aligned and Cthulhu walks the earth, which means I walk the earth, the planets will align correctly, and God help us, the earth will probably end. So, yes, one of the great old ones, yes, me, will cause calamities to happen. So, yes. So it's strange, because I don't know, it just seems to be that people prefer to take their gaming to a fanatical level, which is just too much. Far, far too much. It's far better to be an enthusiast than it is to be a fanatic, because fanaticism is not good. Enthusiastic gameplay, yep, that's fun. I enjoy to sit down and play a game with people, but to be fanatical about it, I think is a problem. I'm an enthusiastic collector of 40 odd years, probably more now, but it's an enthusiastic collection of 40, as I said. Yeah, all right. So an enthusiastic collection of 40 years, not a fanatical collection cashed up over 4 years. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's it's one of the things that I'm beginning to find also a little bit disheartening too, is that when you start to move in certain circles, that you're finding that a lot of people don't seem to be very noticeable, or not noticeable. What's the word I'm trying to think of? Aware. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Aware of just how patronizing or horrific their lifestyle in gaming can be compared to those who can't compete, I guess might be the best word. I'm thinking more along the lines of that, you're in amongst a group of people at a convention or something, or at a tournament, and you're talking to people and they're always going on about, I've just got these Kickstarters, I've ordered these Kickstarters, my Kickstarters are coming in, I've got this and this, and all you can think about is, my God, how much money are these people spending? Or they're always watching these reviews and that on YouTube with the main players, and they're talking about these, or on Board Game Geek, the top 20 games or the most sought after games. And yes, I've got this game, I've got this game, I've got this game, and you're thinking, how much money are these people shelling out? And I'm thinking they must be on bloody good money. And it just makes you feel so very small sometimes when you turn up with your battered copy of Talisman or something, some game that you think is, your favourite game that might be from the 90s, like me. And you think, I really like this game. I think it is wonderful. I want to play it. And they've only got the latest and greatest. And they go, well, we don't want to play this because this is the latest thing that's out. And it's the bee's knees. We're going to play this. It's the world, or it's the cult of the new, as always, isn't it? Nobody seems to ever want to play anything that's old. It's like with role-playing games. It's like, why do we always have to play D&D 5th ed? I'm quite happy to play the first edition of Dungeons and Dragons. Or, like, for instance, I'm quite happy to play my first edition of Call of Cthulhu. I don't need to be playing 7th ed. Or I'm quite happy to play my first edition of Gamma World, or any of the other editions of role-playing games I've got. I don't need to be playing the latest and greatest, supposedly, role-playing games that are out there. Because ultimately, the whole premise is follow the money. It's companies out there, they've got to make money. Ultimately, that's what everything's about, isn't it? The businesses are there going, well, essentially, once you have got the base role-playing game, you don't need anything else, because as long as you've got a game master who has a fertile imagination, they can create whatever they like. They don't need supplements, they don't need anything else, because they can create a world of imagination and run with it from there. So consequently, we've got to do a second edition, a third edition. It's like good old Games Workshop with their second edition, third edition of this, going to silly old Age of Sigma or whatever, and everything else. It's like working in the universities, isn't it? It's publish or die. It's sadly very much like that. It's a oh dear, I'm starting to lose my track of thought. But it's the problem of the haves versus the have-nots, and it's, I think, an issue that a lot of people need to be, I guess, more aware of, I guess, the people that they're gaming with, and to take into account that who it is that they're playing with. Like, a lot of people will make exceptions for, I guess, people's shall we say sexuality, or their other circumstances, shall we say, that are in the political agenda circumstances these days, but they don't seem to be very accommodating towards other issues. So I think people need to be a little more accommodating on a lot more roles these days than to just hook on to the fact that we only look at, if you don't, look, people fall into all spectrum of gaming. And I think when you come to the table, you leave all your baggage at the door. All baggage. You leave your political agenda, your sexuality agenda. You leave your, your socio-economic baggage at the agenda. You just sit down. Just imagine it's a skeleton sitting at the table. The skeleton's got nothing on it. Nothing on it at all. You could even say it's left its brain at the door. And it's just, skeleton with nothing, sitting at the table playing a game. Sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? But hopefully you're getting an idea of what I'm trying to ramble on about. But, that's basically what we need to sort of get down to, is just a bare skeleton, a person just sitting there playing a game without any preconceived notions. Just leave it. Play the game. Enjoy the game for what it is. But unfortunately, humanity is what it is, and it brings all its preconceived prejudices with it. And sadly, its preconceived prejudices make life difficult for so many people. Anyway, I will leave it with that. I'm quite sure. I don't know whether or not anyone's understood anything about what it is that I talked about, including me. I don't know where I was going with this. Anyway, that's it for today's waffle. I'm not sure what I was trying to get at with this one. I probably confused everybody. Have I confused you, Mr. Producer? Oh, he's gone to sleep. He has absolutely... let me see. Look, there he is. He's gone to sleep. He's no interest whatsoever in what I've talked about today. So, yes, that's pretty much it. So, till next time, signing off, the Honourable John.